It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Hi everybody, and welcome into our show for this week. I'm sure you are acutely aware by now that around the Southwest region we are locked into one of the most extreme heat waves and one of the most terrible droughts that we've seen in yours and my lifetime. So what is a fisherman or woman to do under these circumstances? Well, there are some things that you can do to increase your chances of success and stay a little cooler in the meantime. And to that end, I'd like to welcome you in to Possum Kingdom Lake. Possum Kingdom is located in northwest Texas between the little towns of Grayford and Palo Pinto, Texas. And there are a couple of factors about Possum Kingdom I'd like to talk about here in the beginning. First of all, we're going night fishing on this week's show. We're going to get out of the daytime heat, fish at night, and increase our chances of success. Next, I'd like to look right here behind me, and you'll see that normally the lake level is up here on this rock riprap right at my feet. The lake is very low right now, as are many lakes around our region. The next thing is, you've probably heard back in the springtime about the terrible PK wildfires. They raged through this entire area, making national and even worldwide news. Those are pretty much a distant memory, and the lake has recovered, and the fishing has been actually pretty good all spring and summer. We'll try to experience some of that on this week's show. While we do that, we're taking you around the region for your latest fishing reports from Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas freshwater, and all your saltwater reports along the Texas and Louisiana Gulf Coast. Also on this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week, we're taking you to northeastern Oklahoma to one of the best fishing lakes up there at Fort Gibson, where the lake level has held steady during this drought. We'll have your big fish photos on the Big Catch of the Week, your equipment segment on the Academy Right Stuff, and much more. But first, we're putting the Nitro Z8 into Possum Kingdom Lake. The next time you see me, it's going to be pitch dark, and right now you go back to the studios for your Chevy Weekend Planner.
Let's take a look at the Salooner tables for our last weekend in August. Peak daytime fishing will start at 9:05 a.m. on Saturday and 9:55 a.m. on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:58 a.m. and set at 7:58 p.m. Also, there's a Hooked on Chevy Kidfish event taking place Saturday morning in Sealy, Texas. Kids will have a chance to win prizes and catch fish, just like Jared of Missouri City, who caught this 29-inch redfish at this year's Hooked on Chevy Kidfish Classic. Visit southwestouttdoorsreport.com and log in as a fan club member, then click on the Hooked on Chevy link to view all of the upcoming events. Stay with us, we've got fishing updates from around the entire region, and I'll be back with your Ask the Pro question a little bit later. Have a great weekend, everyone.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. Buy quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lowrance, maker of the HDS, high-definition system. And Academy, right stuff, low price, every day.
There's something. Welcome back, everybody. As you can see, it's gotten dark. It's nighttime on Possum Kingdom. And I've hooked something, and it's not very big. It is a white bass, and just a small one to get it going. Hey, but it's a fish, and we will take it out here. The wind's up a little bit. It's a lot cooler. We'll talk about that. But look right here. Well, look, first there's the fish. Not very big white bass. Right here over my head, you can see we've got about a half a moon that's come up tonight, and that always helps. If you have a choice, pick a night to go fishing when the moon is out bright. The fish will always feed more on a brighter moon. Now, what I've done is pulled up on a big underwater hump out here in the middle part of the lake and started jigging a spoon. You don't normally think of fishing a jigging spoon like that one. That's a little half ounce. I think it's a little CC spoon, but you don't normally think of that out here at nighttime, but they will bite it. Caught several little white bass already, so the fish are feeding out here a little bit. All right, we're going to talk some about why they do this, what happens to the surface temperature and where these fish go at night and some of the places you can catch them. Do a little more fishing here on Possum Kingdom, but first let's check in right now with Gary Dillahan, your Oklahoma fishing and lake reports for this week.
You know, the temperatures are still really hot here in Oklahoma, but even with that, I'm getting lots of good fishing reports from all across the state. Water temperatures actually have cooled a little bit. They're kind of now back down in the mid to upper 80s in a lot of areas. And the fishing, the bass fishing in particular, still is producing a lot of largemouth bass, extremely shallow, lots of topwater action going on. This past weekend was the Rising Stars Adult Youth Tournament on Fort Gibson Lake. Man, those kids had a blast. You know, it's where the kids really have a chance to shine, and boy, they were doing it. Only a 2-fish limit, very limited hours because of the warm conditions, but lots of teams came in with a 2-bass limit. Big bass of the tournament was just under 5 pounds. The winning weight was almost 9 pounds, so they did really well. Caught them on a variety of different ways, but I kept hearing topwater early, I kept hearing square-bill crankbaits, and I kept hearing soft plastics.
I caught 2 fish today, one in toppers and one at Taylor's. I caught them both on a square bill.
2 bass today, and I caught them on a rattle trap and a worm at Jackson Bay.
I caught 2 fish today, both at Toppers Creek, on a 10-inch plumapple worm in about 4 to 5 foot water.
I weighed in 2 fish today. I caught them both on square bills around shallow, weedy points.
You may recall that a couple of weeks ago, we did our show from Fort Gibson Reservoir in northeastern Oklahoma, catching crappie, largemouth bass, and white bass all in the same day. It's one of the few lakes that's held its own lake level right through the terrible drought that we've had all summer long. It's only a couple of feet low. It's a great destination for you, so let's locate it right now on the Lowrance HDS-10, the big widescreen high-res unit that I use here on my Nitro bass boat. We locate the lake down Highway 51 east from Wagoner, Oklahoma, and that Highway 51 bridge crosses the lake here. And the Toppers area, where we launched to do our show, is located here, due east out of Wagoner. We zoom in to show you that this area is where North Bay, Long Bay, and the main river channel all intersect. You can look for schooling white bass on top anywhere within this red circle. That's where we found them. Plus, you can fish for bass along any of the rocky shorelines and points. And then there are crappie and all of the scattered brush piles laying on the floor of the lake. One note, you will need good sonar to find those crappie brush piles because none of them are sticking out above the surface of the lake. It's a great destination for your late summer and early fall fishing. Fort Gibson in northeast Oklahoma. That's this week's Lowrance Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back, Cajun Phil and Kevin are next up from Louisiana.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
Well, there's something, man, there have been so many little white bass. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're at Possum Kingdom, and this is, I want to tell you, this is another one, and we've been here pretty much all night now. So let me tell you the summary of what we found. We have found thousands and thousands of small white bass like that one, but let me tell you the surprise thing we found. Back in the spring of this year, actually 2011, there was a tremendous golden algae kill on Possum Kingdom, but it primarily affected the stripers, and the word was that there were no stripers left in the lake from the locals and the guides. We have caught probably 50 or 60 little small stripers about maybe 8 to 10 inches long. I have no idea where they came from, if they got stocked in here, or maybe if these stripers happened to spawn up the Brazos River, but we've caught lots of little tiny stripers. So that bodes well for the future of the fishery at Possum Kingdom and thousands of white bass. In fact, I do want to show you a quick shot of my Lowrance HDS-5 up front in the bow of my boat. That is all white bass and small stripers, just clouds and clouds of those, along with a lot of bait fish straight down below the boat. That whole layer is nothing but fish and bait, and we've caught plenty of them on the show. Okay, let's go east of here to Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Fishing Report. Well, I'll tell you what, where do I start? I'll tell you what, right here in Louisiana right now, we either got real low water conditions or too much grass. But I tell you what, the too much grass, I've already told you how to solve that. Get that Dean Rojas frog, that'll work really well. Or put an unweighted worm, fish it across the top of the grass. When you get to blow up, drop your rod, bam, you've got the fish. Low water, let's talk about Toledo Bend. Keep in mind, Toledo Bend is normally about 185,000 acres of water. Right now it's down to 150, but they're catching a lot of fish. They're catching mostly on the south end, plastic worms, fishing the grass. They've been doing really good on Toledo Bend. Let's talk saltwater fishing. Talk to Tofield Bourgeois. He said right now they're catching lots and lots of redfish. Spinner baits are working really great. Black with a chartreuse tail trailer behind it, or purple chartreuse tail behind the spinner bait's been doing good. Down by Venice, Louisiana, talked to Chris Calloway. Chris said go offshore right now. Amberjacks, tuna, dolphin, everything's hitting right now. Again, the dolphin is the Mai type.
We are still out on Possum Kingdom Lake right now, and before we head to the next break, I want to throw in something. We've talked a lot about the drought of 2011 that goes way back across the entire southwest region. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that there are some lakes that are so low that basically they've dried up, and I've got a list of those. They include E.V. Spence, which is out near Robert Lee, Texas. It's over a 14,000 acre lake. O.C. Fisher at San Angelo, a 5,400 acre lake. Twin Buttes at San Angelo, 9,000 surface acres. Greenbelt in the Panhandle, 2,000. Meredith at Amarillo, 16,000 acres. And J.B. Thomas at Snyder, 7,000 acres. All of these lakes are below 20% capacity, inaccessible by boat, and some of them have completely dried up. Stay with us. When we come back, Brian Hughes is next up with your Texas Fishing and Lake Reports.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
There's one right under that light. Hey, welcome back everybody. It's nighttime at Possum Kingdom Lake, and we're out here fishing, and I just pulled up right behind me here to a lighted boat dock. Those are always some of the most consistent places. Did I lose that fish? No, he's right here. These are some of the most consistent places to catch them, and there is a halfway decent white bass right there. Let me tell you something. We launched the boat and the surface temperature was 94 degrees out here. And I just looked right here on my front sonar unit, my Lowrance HDS, and it's 87. So it's dropped 7 degrees just in a couple of hours since it's gotten dark. There's a decent white bass. Try not to run into these people's boat dock. That's never a good thing. But anytime you can find the brightest boat docks that are out over the deepest water, that's typically your best chance to get bit. Now once again, we're jigging a spoon. I'm just pitching a spoon right up in the brightest light I can find, and that's a great way if you just hop from light to light to light on almost any lake in our region. If it's got at least 5 or 6 feet of water underneath it, you've got a great chance to catch some white bass, largemouth bass, and even crappie. Let's check in right now with Texas Fishing and Lake Report.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Executive Outfitters. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little bit of a North Texas fishing secret. Lake Louisville, just north of Dallas. Now, this lake is no secret to recreational boaters, but fishermen may not know that it has a fantastic hybrid striper fishery. This is one of the highest concentrations of Texas Parks and Wildlife stocked hybrids anywhere in the state. You'll want to fish your main lake points and humps that you find above the thermocline. That's very important this time of year. You'll want to use your slabs, your live bait, or use something like a Zara Spook or heading on top when they surface. Now keep in mind, we are still in drought conditions. Even on a lake like Louisville, you're going to want to pre-check your launch location. Some ramps may be closed. And we're coming up on dove season. Remember, water will be key for the birds as well. Not only do they need food, but they also have to have water. And since we haven't had much rain, a lot of crops aren't even producing the food they need. So again, water is key when scouting for dove this year in Texas. That's the Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Executive Outfitters. Now, here's Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report. For the very best monthly coastal and inland fishing information, plus year-round hunting tips, check out our award-winning magazine. Pick up a copy of Texas Outdoors Journal on newsstands or subscribe securely at the website on the screen. We approach the last weekend and last few days of August, and anglers hope September will see oppressive heat abate and an early start to fall. However, until that change actually occurs, anglers will continue to find good fish on light wind days in the surf, as well as short rigs on the upper coast. Any of the jetties continue to hold good speckled trout in deeper water closer to the rocks. Deep Shell in Trinity, Galveston, Matagorda, and San Antonio Bay are also providing hot weather honey holes for specks. On shallow flats on Espiritu Santo Bay and the upper Laguna Madre are holding good schools of redfish. Anglers should look for surface activity, schools pushing wakes, and slicks indicating feeding fish. Cast to the edge of the school and let a fish take your bait away from the school before setting the hook. This will allow you to catch more fish from that school. The lower Laguna Madre continues to offer a smorgasbord of fish species. Around the Old and New Causeway, as well as South Bay, specks, reds, mangrove snapper, and snook are being caught. Most of the activity is coming on either live bait or soft plastics treated with ProCure. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Time right now for the Academy Right Stuff feature. One thing I always do is to go out, scout my areas in the daylight, and make sure I find a clear path free of obstructions. Now I want to show you, I went and did some night fishing at Lake Fork not long ago, and I went out before dark. I turned on the trail feature on my Lowrance HDS, and I drove all the areas that I wanted to go once it got dark. Now you can see this trail. I knew that once it got dark, as long as I kept my cursor, my boat, on that trail, on that line, I would not hit rocks, trees, stumps, and any other obstructions. Just one more safety feature offered by many of the GPS products on the market today. I use the Lowrance HDS, one more way to stay safe if you're out here in the pitch dark. When we come back, we'll have your big fish photos on the big catch of the week, and we'll have your Ask the Pro answer. Stay with us.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week is from David in Stephenville, Texas, who would like to know, how does the moon phase affect night fishing? For the answer, let's check with professional angler Russ Clark.
I like to fish it on a 3 days prior to a full and 3 days prior to the full and 3 days after the full. They feed heavier at night, probably from the time frame of midnight to 3 in the morning.
Thanks, Russ. Keep in mind we have a new moon on Sunday, so the nights this weekend will have very little moonlight. If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now here's Barry with your Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
Oh, here's one more out there under that light. And this could actually be a little bit better. White bass, boy, he is actually putting up a fight. I made a long cast out there. There he comes. Oh yeah, look at that. That's a striper. Hey, we were talking about the stripers coming back, and there is a striped bass, if you can believe that. Just a little striper, and actually that's a little bigger than the little ones I told you that we were catching, but just one more piece of evidence that the striper fishery is going to come back at Possum Kingdom, given a little time. We'll let that one go back. And it's time right now for the big catch of the week this week. Congratulations to Brenna Fleming of Bixby, Oklahoma. She is shown here with her photo of an 80-pound spoonbill or paddlefish that she caught out of the Grand River in Oklahoma. And it took an hour and a half to land this big spoonbill on 10-pound test lines. If you'd like to enter your big fish photo in the contest, simply go to our website, register to become a member. It's all free. It gives you access to the members only area. You can check out my weekly blog, send in your Ask the Pro question, your big fish photo, and you can check out the Kid Fish schedule for all the Chevy Kid Fish events around the state of Texas. Also, you can check out our Facebook page, lots of content that you'll never see here on the show each and every week. Facebook.com, search for Southwest Outdoors Report with Barry Stokes. And one other thing, if you want to see our past episodes, go to our website. Right on the front page is the past week's episode, and go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com, and you can see all the past episodes of our show in full HD. Hey, one other note, our next week's episode will be on at 10:30 p.m. with two notes. First of all, in the Houston area, we will air right after the Conference USA football game, if that game runs late. And throughout the rest of the region, we'll air after the Texas Ranger baseball game, and we're always on Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Well, we had a great night fishing at Possum Kingdom Lake. Lots of little fish, didn't ever find some big ones, but good evidence of the striper fishery coming back, lots of white bass. We're hearing good reports of largemouth bass on PK as well, so it would be well worth a trip here in the upcoming fall months. Hey, thanks for joining us on a night fishing adventure. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.